Welcome to the podcast. I am Hari.
And I am Kimi. Today, we are exploring the life of a true trailblazer who quite literally reached for the stars, Dr. Sally Ride.
Most people know her as the first American woman in space, but her journey to get there and what she did after her historic flights is packed with fascinating details you have probably never heard. Let us start with her college years, because Sally was definitely not your average physics student.
Not at all, Hari. Before she even looked at the stars, she was heavily focused on a tennis ball. Growing up in Los Angeles, she became a nationally ranked junior tennis player, coached by Alice Marble, a former world #1. She even attended Swarthmore College on a full scholarship for tennis and academics.
But Swarthmore, in the era before Title IX, did not have great support for women's tennis. They only had 4 outdoor courts, meaning she could not practice when it snowed. She was homesick for California anyway, so she transferred to UCLA with dreams of turning pro. To test her endurance, she played 3 intense matches in a single August morning.
And her whole body ached the next day. She quickly realized she did not have the stamina to practice 8 hours a day, so she pivoted entirely to academics. At UCLA, she took courses in Shakespeare and quantum mechanics, earning A's in both. Eventually, she transferred to Stanford, where she earned 4 degrees, culminating in a PhD in physics.
While at Stanford, she literally saw her destiny in the newspaper. In 1977, she spotted an article on the front page of the Stanford Daily. NASA was recruiting a new group of astronauts for the Space Shuttle program, and for the first time ever, they were actively looking for women.
She was one of over 8,000 applicants. When she made it to the final group of 208 at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, NASA had to run some pretty intense medical exams. They literally zipped her into a personal rescue enclosure, a ball just 36 inches in diameter, to see if she suffered from claustrophobia.
Her physical fitness, undoubtedly aided by her tennis background, deeply impressed the doctors. She passed and joined NASA Astronaut Group 8. The group jokingly called themselves TFNG. Some sources suggest officially it stood for 35 new guys, but unofficially they used a well-known military phrase with an expletive in the middle to denote the new kids on the block. She loved flying so much during training that she took private lessons and bought a share in a Grumman Tiger aircraft just to fly on weekends. In fact, when she married fellow astronaut Stephen Hawley in 1982, the ceremony was incredibly low-key. She actually flew herself to the wedding in Kansas in her Grumman Tiger and got married wearing white jeans.
A total icon from day one. But her path to her first spaceflight, STS-7 in 1983, was marred by an intensely sexist media circus. As the first American woman heading to space, reporters asked her utterly ridiculous questions. They wanted to know if she would weep when things went wrong on the job, or if the flight would affect her reproductive organs.
The absolute worst was when NASA engineers, completely clueless about female astronauts, asked her to help develop a space makeup kit. They also infamously suggested packing 100 tampons for a 6-day mission. Sally handled it all with incredible grace, insisting she just saw herself in one way, as a professional astronaut.
And she proved her exceptional skill in orbit. On June 18, 1983, Space Shuttle Challenger lifted off. The launch crowd was packed with people wearing shirts that read, "Ride, Sally, Ride," referencing the Wilson Pickett tongue. In space, she operated the robotic arm to deploy and retrieve a satellite. She even cleverly manipulated the arm into the shape of a 7 to honor her mission.
When she returned, she was an instant global celebrity. But she refused to just smile for the cameras. She notably declined an appearance with Bob Hope because she considered his routines sexist. Instead, she took the initiative to meet Svetlana Savitskaya in Budapest. Svetlana was the Soviet cosmonaut who had become the second woman in space. They bonded for 6 hours and traded space mission souvenirs.
I absolutely love that international solidarity. Sally flew again in 1984 on STS-41G, making her the first American woman to fly twice. She was flying with Catherine Sullivan, marking the very first time 2 women were in space together. During that mission, she actually carried Amelia Earhart's white silk scarf with her into orbit.
Which brings us to the tragic turning point in her career. She was training for a third flight when the Challenger disaster occurred in January 1986. Sally was immediately appointed to the Rogers Commission to investigate the tragedy, making her the only current astronaut and NASA employee on the panel.
And here is a deeply important, lesser-known fact. Years after her death, it was revealed that Sally discreetly provided a fellow commission member, General Donald Kutina, with the key piece of information that the shuttle's O-rings became stiff at low temperatures. Kutina fed this to physicist Richard Feynman, who famously demonstrated the fatal flaw on television.
She risked her career to ensure the truth came out. She also publicly hugged Roger Boisjoli, the engineer who had tried to warn his managers about the O-rings before the launch and was shunned by his company for it. She was the only public figure to visibly show him support. She truly had an unbreakable moral compass. She eventually served on the Columbia Accident Investigation Board in 2003 as well.
After leaving NASA, her career did not slow down. She became a physics professor at UC San Diego and directed the California Space Institute. But her true post-NASA passion was science education. She founded Sally Ride Science to create entertaining programs and publications for kids, with a heavy focus on inspiring young girls to pursue STEM fields.
She did all of this alongside Tam O'Shaughnessy, who is the CEO of Sally Ride Science. What the general public did not know at the time was that Tam was also Sally's life partner. They met on the junior tennis circuit and were together in a private relationship for 27 years. Sally kept her personal life fiercely guarded.
She maintained that privacy until she tragically passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2012. Her obituary publicly revealed her relationship with Tam, making Sally the first known LGBTQ astronaut. Her sister Bear confirmed that Sally simply believed her personal life and her illness were her own business.
Even after her passing, her legacy continues to inspire. Barack Obama posthumously awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. NASA crashed 2 lunar probes into a mountain on the moon and named the site in her honor. The U.S. Navy named a cutting-edge research ship the RV Sally Ride, and she was featured as one of the first honorees on the American Women Quarters series.
From a tennis prodigy reading Shakespeare to a history-making astronaut who championed truth and science education, Dr. Sally Ride was a phenomenal force of nature. Her life teaches us to reach higher, question the status quo, and stay true to our own path.
Beautifully said, Harry. It has been an absolute honor sharing her story today. Thank you all for joining us on this incredible journey through the life of a true American pioneer. Have a wonderful day, and we will catch you on the next episode.
This episode is based on the Wikipedia article Sally Ride, which is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. This podcast was crafted using artificial intelligence.